Chef, we have some amazing questions from some of our viewers, including, Thanksgiving here in the U.S. with turkey is a pretty American holiday, but the harvest is celebrated all across the world, including in Europe. What are some of the customary harvest celebrations in Austria and the rest of Europe?
I have left Austria so long ago. For us, was roasted potatoes in the fields and some speck and some cider. And, I grew up in the countryside in Austria. So it was not really such a famous holiday. It wasn't a holiday really like we have here with Thanksgiving in the US or in Canada. So I really learned the first time about Thanksgiving when I came to America. I was in Indianapolis and I didn't know really what Thanksgiving was. And the manager of the restaurant there took us to his house and we had this feast there. And I said, what is the reason? And he said, it's Thanksgiving. We're giving thanks to have a great year and brought in all the corn, the wheat and everything. So I think for me that was really special. And since then, we always celebrate Thanksgiving, not in Austria, but in America.
Chef, I've always loved how your recipes are very replicable at home. How do you balance the tradition and the innovation that you do in your cooking and your recipes?
Well, I really think to me, cooking at home and cooking in a restaurant is different. In a restaurant, you have dishwashers, you have sous chefs, you have all these people helping you and doing things for you. At home, often you have the family, but they're not used to cook, some of them, Like I love to cook with my kids, but I have to watch them because we have sharp knives and so forth.
Sure.
So I think you really have to make a plan, even if it's for 6 people. If you say, okay, I can make this soup a day ahead, 2 days ahead, put it in the refrigerator. I can make some of the side dishes ahead. I can make my pecan pie or my apple pie ahead. So make a plan so that way the last day you don't have to get all crazy. You know what you have, you can reheat it, and that's it. And I think just like in a restaurant, when we do a dinner, we make a plan of how we're going to serve it at home too. Write down. Also, when you go shopping, if you don't have a plan what you need as ingredients, then it's difficult. Then you have to go back and forth to a store. And if you live far away, it's not a good thing.
Right.
And don't forget the wine.
Never forget the wine. Chef, we've gotten a lot of questions about whether or not to brine the turkey. What are your thoughts on that, and what would the brine be?
Well, it could be different kind of brines. It could be a traditional salt brine with some spices in it. You bring everything to boil with the water. If you have a big pot or a big container and put the turkey in there in the cold brine, let it sit in there overnight, really pat it dry, maybe rinse it off a little bit. Or if you are not many people at home, like up to 6 people, you cut the backbone out of the turkey, flatten it out like that, and brine it like you would make a fried chicken with buttermilk.
Really?
And that way you can roast it like that in the oven, also do it overnight, and it makes a delicious turkey too. So some people might think you are from the south, but you know what, you can do it in the north too.
Chef, for smaller groups and for this holiday, what are some other alternatives to turkey that are easy to make in kind of that same main dish?
Well, I really believe if you want to celebrate Thanksgiving, and I tried it many times at home to make something different. I made venison. I said, well, it's fall, it's November, venison is good. And people ask, where's the turkey? I remember one time I made quail, and the people said, what is that? I said, it's a baby turkey, but they were so little. So I think to me, Thanksgiving and turkey is like a perfect marriage. Everybody expects a turkey for Thanksgiving. So even if you roast a ham, even if you make some roast beef, even if you make fish, even if you make something vegetarian, obviously now there are a lot of vegans out there, there are a lot of vegetarians out there, and I'm gonna show you an amazing butternut squash soup, perfect for a vegan. You just don't put cream on it, or for a vegetarian, you can put a little cream on it. And also the vegetables we make, I think, are good for that. So I think, especially in LA and New York, you have a lot of people who don't eat meat now.
Sure.
So, and they want to celebrate. But what you do is use the spices which reminds you of Thanksgiving. For example, cinnamon, a little bit of clove, a little bit of ginger, a little bit of allspice. So you want the house to smell like it. I did a few times where I had people cater my Thanksgiving, our restaurant.
Sure.
Chicago catered the Thanksgiving, but then the house doesn't smell like Thanksgiving. So I said, okay, let's put some wine, some cloves, some cinnamon, and bake it, and cook it, and then the house smells good.
That's a great tip. Thank you. Certainly. So Provence is the benchmark when it comes to rosé. Everyone around the world is trying to make the Provençal style of rosé. And what's amazing with this area here is that it's about 45 minutes from the Mediterranean coast. And so you really get all these kind of different limestones and marine soils that really bring a lot of brightness, a lot of minerality to the wine, and just make it really fresh, crispy, and also really great for food pairing too. Absolutely, and what's so unique about rosé as a category of wine, it's kind of like the Goldilocks of wine. So you have the flavor profiles of red wine, so those beautiful strawberries, kind of fresh herbs, that style, but it's also the structure of what you would have for white wine. So that kind of really nice acidity to it, that brightness. So if you're a light red wine drinker or a fan of kind of crisp white wines, you're gonna really like rosé, and again, it pairs so beautifully with all the different things you're gonna put for Thanksgiving.